Welcome to the ODDSBREAKER'S #1 place for shared, sharp betting information.
Welcome back to podcast 7 of 2021. I'm your host, Kiev O'Neil. You can follow me on Twitter at OBKiev. Follow us at the ODDSBREAKERS. Follow us on social media / the ODDSBREAKERS. This episode is being brought to you by jazzsports.ag. For a 100% sign-up bonus, please visit Jazz Sports and use the promo code ODDSBREAKERS. Terms, conditions, and location apply. If you'd like to help us out with our cost, sponsor the website and the podcast, we'd love to help you out. Please visit theoddsbreakers.com, click shop, and become a member. For $24.99 a month, you can get my plays and premium plays before the line moves. If nothing else, please visit theoddsbreakers.com and become a free picks newsletter subscriber. My friends, we have a Super Bowl. It looks like the Tampa Bay Bucks versus the Kansas City Chiefs. And ironically, it's going to be played in Tampa Bay. So, do we give them some home field advantage or not? Well, we'll talk a little bit about that later. I think everyone's grabbing their narratives right now. Old GOAT versus the new GOAT. You have Andy Reid versus Bruce Arians, who made it to the Super Bowl with the Cardinals, but just couldn't quite get the job done. Lost it in the last drive to Pittsburgh, if you remember. That amazing catch from Santonio Holmes. That's who it was. So Bruce Arians is back, and he's got Tom Brady. And it's almost like this, almost feels like this was kind of scripted out, Mahomes versus Brady this year. What a fantastic situation for the NFL. Now, whatever you want to believe or not, the game flow wasn't pretty. The officiating certainly wasn't pretty, especially in the Packers-Tampa Bay game. I mean, if you just kind of watch the game, you see that the refs swallowed their flags when it comes to defensive holding, except obviously at the very end. They decided to call it, and it went against the Packers. There was a key change in this game when the Packers were driving to go ahead, and Sean Murphy Bunting held Alan Lazard, pulled himself in front of the ball to make an interception that changed the outcome of the game. Very similar to how the officials missed the one with the Saints and the Rams, except that it was earlier in the game. But it changed the outcome of the game, which is something, obviously, if you've listened to this podcast, I've complained about for a long time. The inconsistency with these officials add variance. Packers felt the brunt of that. Now, as a Bears fan, I mean, you see that when the Lions play the Packers, the Bears play the Packers, but apparently Aaron Rodgers isn't quite as high as Tom Brady in that hierarchy. But either way, you can say that Tom Brady made his passes when he had to. You can say that Aaron Rodgers, after the 2 interceptions, went 3 and out twice, all pass plays. You can say that LaFleur completely bombed with kicking a field goal rather than going for a touchdown on 4th down when you needed a touchdown anyway. All you did was just push the ball back a lot farther, even if you stopped Tampa. I mean, at least if you got the touchdown and didn't get the 2-point, you can still kick a field goal to win the game if you get the ball back. Your defense needed to stop no matter what. That was obviously a terrible call, but it was done quickly. I noticed it right away. I was like, hold on, timeout. What are you doing? And then they kicked the field goal. I mean, LaFleur should have thought about that a little bit longer instead of automatically try to kick a field goal and felt disheartened they couldn't get the ball in the end zone. At least if you get that stop in Tampa territory, you can obviously, get better field position on the punt, maybe get it at the 45 or the 50, and still have a shot to score a touchdown and to get that 2-point conversion. But what they did was just put the ball in Tom Brady's hands, which is one of the best quarterbacks in history of closing out a game and getting a first down. So yes, the Packers had chances, and that's what the people are saying that defend officiating in the NFL. But that doesn't change the fact that the officiating changed the game completely. They changed what the Packers had to do. That excuse is just a red herring. Okay? It's a complete red herring. Because no matter what, a bad call changes the final score of the game. It changes the future because you screwed up and messed up with the flow of the game by missing something completely legal or illegal, right? Every single game, there's chances that are blown. Nobody's ever played the perfect game where every throw is caught, every throws for a touchdown, every runs for a touchdown on offense. And on defense, no one's ever played a perfect game where, unless the team is absolutely terrible, nothing I can remember that a team couldn't get a yard. So you can say, well, they had their chances. Well, why don't you just start the game 100-0 and say, oh, they had their chances? You know, it makes no sense to me to defend this type of inconsistency from the officials, and then narratives pop up that the officials are trying to get somebody in the Super Bowl. How do you not believe that when you watch that game? How do you not? It's hard to keep defending the NFL and say, no, they're not purposely trying to shade it for Brady to get in. You can't defend that. It actually looks way more like they are. And this is coming from a Bear fan. But I also believe that it happens to others' teams just during the season. They just favor who they want to. They favor where the media is. They favor who's getting the coverage. So, as a sports bettor, this is something to be concerned about, and this is something I'm not going to shut up about until they clean it up. Because it ruins my plays when that officiating variance changes the game. When it's not done completely and correctly. You know? So, yeah, I definitely had a lot to share on Twitter afterwards. But I'm not going to stop because I love the sport. And I want it to be better. And I want, when we're predicting games, as somebody who bets on sports, to be a lot closer to what was supposed to happen than to not get it taken away from you. The Bills versus the Chiefs. I mean, the Bills had their chances. They got that lucky punt drop, scored, went up 9-0, missed an extra point, and 9-0 quickly became 17-9, and then that quickly became 24-9, and then they just could not stop the Chiefs after that. There was one point where there was an interception that Josh Allen thrown, where his receiver Brown was tackled too early. It was bang play, really hard to see. But it was just another situation where the correct call wasn't made. Now, at least in this game, I think the Bills were pretty much toasted out of it anyway. But at least I can say that Kansas City is the deserving team to go to the Super Bowl on that side of the coin. But on the other side, I'm not sure I can say that for Tampa Bay. Either way, we went 5-4 in football. We hit 2 out of 3 of our props. Our big losses were the Packers -3.5 and -2.5 at the half. And I did take a small bet on the first half under with Kansas City that lost, and I lost the Fournette. But we won everything else. We won Tanyan scores a touchdown at -110. Those odds were better in some other books. We hit the Josh Allen over 45 rushing yards. I took a bad number on that. But it was just the right handicap. I thought there was some serious upside in it. He got like 88 rushing yards. You know, so I thought they were way off on it anyway. And not necessarily, okay, so I didn't think they were way off. I thought they were off by about 10 yards. I thought it should have been around 55. But these are prop bets, so pretty much anything can happen. We hit the Chiefs -3. We hit the Chiefs over 53.5, and we hit the Packers over 51. So Good for the NFL. College has been suffering a little bit, though. Have to do a little bit better for our premium subscribers. We're doing better on the Big Ten, kind of like I always preach. But whenever we're taking a shot at some other conference, it seems like the team really starts bad or they have a stinker. So I have to be better about that. I'm going to be changing some things to fix college basketball and get it back to profitable. But either way, we have a great show for you today. I'm just coming on myself to break down a little bit of the Super Bowl lines that just came out, and I'm going to give you a free play for college basketball for Tuesday. So, looking at this line, NFL. Chiefs favored by -3, -120-ish. So, it's all over the board. It's popping at -3.5 plus 100. I mean, you can get Tampa Bay plus 3.5 -122. So it's just kind of in that range, but I hate to say it. I actually have it, and I thought a little bit about this. Kansas City -3.25, and that's giving Tampa Bay 0.5 for home field. Why am I only giving Tampa Bay 0.5 for home field? Well, this is the Super Bowl. I mean, teams expect that they have to go to a different stadium anyway for the Super Bowl. It's not like it's going to be split with Tampa fans there. I mean, yes, there's familiarity, and that's pretty much why I'm giving the half point. But I'm not giving more because for some reason, Tampa Bay is a better road team this year than they are an away team. I mean, let's look at what Tampa's scoring at home. One of the most simplest metrics, scoring, not even yards. Tampa Bay is getting 28.5 points per game at home and 32.5 on the road. I mean, Tampa Bay's the best road team. Crazy enough, right? You look at Kansas City, they're the same-ish. They're 28 points at home, 31.6 on the road. So this almost like favors Kansas City if you call it a road game. I mean, looking at Tampa Bay, what they give up, they give up 23.9 points per game at home, and they only give up 21.2 on the road. Now, Kansas City does give up one extra point on the road at 23, but they only allow 22 at home, right? So not even as big of a difference. I mean, you almost think that maybe it'd be better if Tampa Bay didn't play at home in this situation. But, I mean, we've seen Tampa choke at home against the Rams, against the Saints. They did beat the Packers well at home, as you've seen before. But obviously, they just beat the Packers on the road as well. Even though there was some help, they got the deal done. They got the job done. Their defense got the job done when they needed to. So, this is interesting. And that's why I can only do 0.5. That's why my spread is 3.25, which is right at the line. Is it me that's right? Maybe some people have Kansas City a bigger favorite, but they give Tampa Bay more home field advantage. I don't know. But the way it came out for me is that. So there's literally not a lot of disagreement from me in this line, which means it's pretty much unbettable. I mean, it sucks to not bet the Super Bowl line. I'm not going to give out a premium side on it, but I will be watching it because I suppose there's more upside with the Chiefs. So if it can get down to 3 -105, 3 plus 100, maybe I will take a shot at the Chiefs. I don't think it'd be premium, but I'll let our members know I'm betting it, you know? So, I mean, that's what I'm thinking here. I ran the numbers through the algorithm, and it actually spit out Tampa Bay by 1 using the same home field advantage, right? But the way I look at it is that Tampa Bay has had an easier schedule. I know some of the numbers that I get from public sites like Sagarin don't say that, but I disagree with that. Just like I've always said, I disagree with the DVOA ranking. Now, have I come around a little bit? A little bit, yeah. I mean, it's not easy to get to the Super Bowl, and you have Tom Brady there, so I am more online for what Football Outsiders has. I mean, they have Tampa Bay, the number 2 team behind the Saints in DVOA. They have Green Bay number 3, Buffalo number 4, Seattle number 5, and Kansas City number 6. But think about it. Is Kansas City the 6th best team in the league? I mean, come on. They have 2 losses. Tampa Bay already played Kansas City at home and lost and should have not covered. Kansas City allowed them to backdoor and get the 3. The spread closed at 3.5. I mean, we already saw this. Kansas City went to Tampa Bay and whipped their butts. But according to Football Outsiders, Tampa Bay is the number 2 team. Kansas City is the number 6 team. This is where the whole art to the handicap comes in. I don't believe we've seen Kansas City their extra gear until maybe a little bit when they were down by Buffalo, right? Maybe besides last year, they have that extra gear and they have the guys on the field. Now, they did lose a tackle. They lost Eric Fisher. That's not good. An Achilles injury. But is that enough to slow them down? Not so sure about that. I mean, they still have a lot of depth on that bench. Tampa Bay safety Jordan Whitehead was ruled out with a shoulder injury. Might come back. We'll see. But those are the main ones right there. So, I mean, if you really believe in straight numbers and the DVOA and you really think Tampa's schedule was harder, then you're going to lean towards the Tampa side at +3, a nice fat +3, +100 type thing, right? Or maybe you try to wait out for the 3.5. But if you really believe the Chiefs have that extra gear and you disagree with some of these metrics because you think that they just got bored this season, which I kind of do, then you try to get a good 3 on Kansas City. I don't think there's any value really at that side, unless you're getting a flat 3, in my opinion. And maybe you even get better. Who knows? Maybe a lot of people are going to buy into Tom Brady here. So I'm excited to see where this line goes. Right now, it did open up at 57, and it got bet down. I believe it's at 55.5, 56 right now. My number on the game came out to 55. So there you go. 28-27 is when my algorithm came out and kicked out Tampa winning by 1. So, I mean, not much of a difference there. So, I decided not to take it under 57, and I thought it might move under. But I leaned over in this game because of what I said before. I just think there's more upside on Kansas City's offense. I just might end up playing this game first half under and second half over like I like to do anyway. I think you're going to get more value doing at least the second half over at halftime because there's a lot of different ways it could go over. If there's not a lot of points scored in the first half, you might get a better number, right? I mean, at 56 points, the first half total has got to be about 28, right? Probably 28, 27.5. For some reason, last year they had it so high, it didn't make any sense to me. And we took the first half under and hit that, and then we bet the second half over and hit that. I mean, that's how these teams kind of come into the Super Bowl. So I'm going to definitely be looking at that a little bit more when the lines come out. Actually, there is a first half line here. Yeah, 27.5. So I'm going to wait on that, see if there's more over bets, and see if I can grab the first half under, maybe at a 28. So that's what we're looking at. As far as the fourth quarter, right now the total on that one, and you can bet quarters before the game in the Super Bowl, 14.5. Well, as long as it's a close game, that 14.5 is going to fly. But if Kansas City, for some reason, is beating the heck out of the Tampa Bay Bucks, this fourth quarter could definitely go under. They would run the ball with 8 minutes left, right? Try to run the clock. So right now, you have to hope for a close game for that to go. And that's why there's a little bit more juice on the 14.5 under. I think there might even be some value there on the 14.5 under, personally, in the fourth quarter. You have to really, really trust that the Bucs are going to be in it. And with some of those passes that Brady threw, man, can't 100% trust that. Mahomes, looking dang good. What was the whole narrative on him last week? He's got a hurt toe. He can't run. You saw him run. Didn't look great running, really. Might have been banged up a little bit. He definitely didn't want to get hit, right? Looks like he only had 5 yards. We would have hit that under if we took it. I wonder if you take the under in the Super Bowl so he doesn't get another head rattle, whatever happened, neck sprain, nerve pinch type deal. I wonder if that's going to be some value there. I mean, last year we took Mahomes for our prop bets to score the first touchdown. It paid 25-1. I think we finished like up 29, 30 units from our props last year. So that's how I'm going to be attacking this. That's the funnest way of doing it. As a matter of fact, it looks like we're going to get Rafael Esparza, line maker for my bookie. Handicapper is going to be putting out a lot of Super Bowl props on my bookie. I'm excited to talk to Rafael about that from Doc Sports. And talk a little bit more Super Bowl with Adam Burke, hopefully, this week. So, real excited for that. Of course, we're going to do some college basketball for our later show. But this one's just kind of like a little bit of a preview for the Super Bowl. What I'm going to do. We're going to give out some free prop bets like we did last time. I mean, what makes this fun is like telling a story, whether other people know the story or not. You're narrating what's going to happen in the game. You talk about possibly the coin toss. I don't bet it, but then you go right into the national anthem. How long it's going to be. If there's value there, I've bet it before. I've gotten information before about that. And you go on who scores, what's the first score going to be? I'm always leaning field goal. Usually pays the most. And you go on to what's the first touchdown scorer per team. It's always fun to take a couple shots at that. There's always some nice long shots there. Right? Then you try to play quarterbacks, over, under, touchdowns, yards, receptions, or completions it'd be for them. But same thing with the running backs and the receivers. I mean, you have your obvious ones that are usually a little bit juiced to the over. So you have to think about that. You have to think about who their matchup's going to be. Maybe there's a Patrick Ramsey that's going to be on somebody this game. Of course, not him, but somebody that maybe could be almost as good as him. You have to look into your cornerbacks. You got to look into that. Got to understand your coaches a little bit. And you narrate a story based upon what's going to happen. And if you're any good at it, you're going to hit a lot of bets. In general, there's more money to be made betting the under and paying some juice. I mean, that's just how it is. People bet overs. Vegas tries to balance the juice. It's going to value more unders. So you have to pick your overs carefully with a fine-tooth comb, right? I mean, you don't necessarily go for the star unless his matchup's good, right? And then you're going to try to hit some unders on some guys that are probably getting overbet. So that's the plan of attack. And I can't wait to talk about that. I'm hoping we're going to get some more props towards the end of the week. There's some general props out right now. Coin toss stuff. You know, if they're going to mention names, hologram stuff. A little bit of stuff on the band The Weeknd that's going to be doing the halftime show. You know, not really looking at that just yet. See if there's any value that comes up for that. I mean, sometimes like information will come out that the lead singer is going to be wearing a white shirt or something, right? But you have to be fast if you're going to get any information, because usually Vegas is going to get it the moment you do. So let's remember that. And we're going to try to find some value in the Super Bowl. Make it fun. So not always about being completely right. It's about taking a few shots. You know, that's what's fun about the Super Bowl. I mean, the side is not a money-making play. It's not 52.38%. You know, you're not over 52.38% if you're going to take minus 320, minus 3 on the Chiefs right now. Sorry, you're not. But in my opinion, some other handicappers might think there is. So they want to bet it. God bless them. Their numbers are different than mine, and their numbers are different than Vegas's. All right, my friends, let's get into a little college basketball free play for Tuesday night. All right, for our free pick for Tuesday night, January 26th, we're going to go to the ACC. Georgia Tech is facing Duke at Cameron Indoor Arena. Duke's favored by about 5 to 6 points. Seeing it at 5.5 right now. Look, what has Duke done this year? All right. They lost to Virginia Tech. They lost to Pittsburgh. They lost to Louisville. They haven't won since January 9th in Wake Forest. It's actually at home. 3-game losing streak on the road. They're coming back home to face Georgia Tech. Everyone's supposed to just pile on Duke now. Bounce back game, right? Well, maybe it will be, but 5.5 points against a much improved Georgia Tech team. I'm going to take the contrarian side and say that Georgia Tech is the better team and should not be dogs by 5.5 points. Not even close. All right? I mean, look at how they match up here. Points per game, Georgia Tech 78.7, Duke 73.6. Field goal percentage, Georgia Tech 47.5, Duke 44.8. Free throw percentage, Georgia Tech 71.6, Duke 67.3. Three-point percentage, Georgia Tech 38.3, Duke 33.2. Total rebounds, Duke has them 36.7 to 32.5, but that's because they're missing more shots. Georgia Tech's got the assists, 16.5 to 14.3. Total turnovers, Duke's 2 worse, 13.7 to 11.5. And assist per turnover ratio, Georgia Tech 1.4, 1.0. Georgia Tech is quietly one of the better ACC teams. They took Virginia to the wire on Saturday, you know. And maybe this is Duke's big bounce back spot, but still, 5.5 points against the better team. Duke is only great in name only. Their best win was against number 78 Notre Dame. Heck, half the season's almost over. All right? I think this is a good shot to take at Georgia Tech with the money line and the spread. I'm going to put 3 stars on Georgia Tech. I think that you have a very good chance to go into a fanless Cameron Indoor Stadium and pull off the outright upset.
That was my first Asian. You better lock it up. You better lock it up. No, you lock it up. You lock it up. Lock it up. Lock it up.
Please.
All right, my friends, if you have any questions or would like us to break a basketball game down for the weekend, please tweet us at the Odds Breakers. Remember, our show, Better Odds Sports Betting, is coming back on Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. Everyone, enjoy the rest of your week. Enjoy the games and go get some winners.